Adding and subtracting rational expressions. First problem we have to look at is 15 over 7a plus 8 over 6a. Anytime we have fractions being added together or subtracted from each other, you need to have a common denominator. So I look at this and I see that these are not common. So I have to find out what's different about them. They both have an a in them. This has a 7, that has a 6. That is what is different. So we have to take the 7 and multiply it to the second fraction. And we take the 6 and we multiply it to the first fraction. That's the easy way of doing this. So then we grab our calculator, 6 times 15. 6 times 15 equals 90. So I have 90 over 6 times 7 is 42. And I need a different pen. A plus, carry the plus sign down, 8 times 7, 56, over 6 times 7, 42, A. Now that I have that, I add the tops. So 90 plus 56 is 146 over 42a. So now I have to look to see, can I reduce anything? Before I get to that though, first thing, notice that the 42a, 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 it's the same thing in all three fractions. Now I look at the 42 and the 146 and I say they're both even numbers. They can both be divided by 2. So I'm going to do that. 146 divided by 2, 73. 42 divided by 2 is 21. I know that 21 is 3 times 7, so I look to see, can I divide this by 3 or can I divide it by 7? The answer is no to both of those. So now I have my reduced form is 73 over 21a. And there is my answer. If I had been able to divide this by 3 or 7, then I would continue on with my reducing. Looking at this next one, I look at my denominator, 8 plus 4, 3x plus 12, they're not the same. So I could take the 8 plus x plus 4, multiply it to both top and bottom here, take the 3x plus 12, multiply it to both top and bottom, or I could try to find a smaller common denominator. And that's what I'm going to do. I see that both of these, the 3 and the 12, can be divided by 3. So I'm going to do that first. So that gives me the 3 on the outside that I'm factoring out. 3 divided 3 is 1. I have x. Carry down my plus sign. 12 divided 3 is 4. I reach the end. So now when I look at it, I see x plus 4 and x plus 4, and the only thing different is the 3 there. So I need to take that 3 and I need to multiply it both top and bottom. So I'm going to do that. Notice that I'm multiplying by both the x and the 4. So making some room so I can work it out. times 8, 24, over 3 open parentheses x plus 4 close parentheses, minus. I didn't have to multiply this by anything, so it just stays a 3, over. I use my factored form. 3 open x plus 4 close. Now I do my subtraction. I keep the bottom the same. So 24 minus 3 is 21. I keep my bottom the same as 3 times x plus 4. And I check to see, can I reduce anything? Well, the 3 and the 21 both can be divided by 3, so I do that. And I end up with my answer is 7 over x plus 4. Going over here to my third one. 5 over y squared minus y over 2y plus 1. So I'm looking, I see I have subtraction, so I have to have my common denominator. I look at my y squared, I look at my 2y plus 1. There's nothing in common between them. So I have to take the y squared times the whole second fraction. I need to take my 2y plus 1 times the whole second fraction. So making room to work that out. So what I have is my 2y plus 1 times, or over itself, times 5 over y squared minus y over 2y plus 1 times y squared over y squared. So that's what this one is. So now I need to distribute. Take the 5 times the 2y. I'll just multiply that instead of writing it down. That gives me 10y. Take the 5 times the 1. I have my plus sign, carry it forward. I'm going to leave the bottom factored. So it's going to be the 2y plus 1 times y squared. Then I have my minus sign. Then I have my second fraction. Y times y squared. So that's an understood 1 there. So I'm adding that 1 over to there. So it gives me y to the third. Over. I'm leaving the bottom factored. Now I look for any like terms that I can combine. That has a y to the first power, no y at all, y to the third power. I can't combine anything there. So I'm just going to write it out as it is. So I have negative y to the third, because I line it up with the largest exponent first, the smallest exponent last. That's a positive, so plus 10y plus 5 over. So that minus sign there became the negative sign there. I'm going to leave the bottom factored. 2y plus 1 times y squared. can I factor anything out of the numerator? Y to the third, y to the understood 1, no y. I can't factor a y out. Could I possibly factor something else out? Maybe, but I don't think so. So I'm going to leave it as that. And I am going to call that my answer. Could I maybe do long division and reduce it somehow that way? Possibly, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. That's just something that takes a lot more time. So that is finished. Looking at my next problem. I see the 2x plus 3 here on the bottom, but on the bottom here, there's nothing. Remember, you're allowed to divide any number by 1, and it does not change it. So 3 divided by 1 is still 3. So now I have a fraction. Now I can find a common denominator. So now I look at my denominator here, my denominator there, and I say I have to multiply this by 2x plus 3 over itself. Now I have my common denominator. Now I can distribute and do my subtraction problem. Also, another thing about this, notice that I have this minus sign up here with the 3. More properly, it would have been written out here in front, but I am going to change that, and I'm going to make that a plus sign, and I'm going to attach that negative sign to the 3 so that I can take that whole thing and distribute it in. So making room. While you think about that, I will make room. So I have my 7 over 2x plus 3. That stays the same. I have a plus sign. I distribute the negative in, so it becomes negative 3 times 2 is negative 6, x. Negative 3 times plus 3, negative 9. And that is still over that 1 times this stuff, which is just 2x plus 3. Now that I have a common denominator, same thing on both sides, I can combine my top. So I'm looking at this 7, it has no x with it, and I look at the minus 9, has no x with it. That's what I'm going to combine. So I have my negative 6x, 7 minus 9 is minus 2. Keep the bottom the same, so 2x plus 3. Check to see, can I factor anything out anywhere? Yeah, I can. I can take this negative 6 and the minus 2, and I can divide each one by negative 2, which then would give me negative 2 open parentheses, negative 3x, positive, because I have the negative divided by negative is positive. Negative divide negative is positive. 2 divide 2 is 1. So I look at that, and I look at the 2x plus 3. I can't factor anything. So I may as well just leave my answer as that right there, and get rid of my markings to say I was thinking about reducing. I have 2 more problems I want to do. I'm going to make a little room for them. first one is x over x squared minus 4 minus 5 over x squared minus 4x plus 4. So I'm looking at my denominators. And I see this one here. I recognize this one because this is one of those ones, those special products that you have to memorize because you're going to see it so often. This is that a squared minus b squared. It's x squared minus 2 squared. So when I see that, I know that I'm going to have a plus b times a minus b. So this is x plus 2 times x minus 2. So now I have that one factored. And like I said, that's if you memorize only one special product, that is the one to memorize because that is the one that you're going to have the most use for. I recommend remembering all of them. Now I look at this other one. And I suspect, I'm not positive, but I suspect that I'm going to have either an x plus 2 or an x minus 2 in here. So I'm going to look at A, B, and C. A is 1. B is negative 4. C is positive 4. So seeing the positive for C, that tells me that both of my signs are going to be the same. So I'm not going to have both a plus and a minus. Seeing the negative for B, that's telling me that my sign is going to be negative. So I'm going to have x minus something and x minus something. I don't know what those somethings are, but I'm going to take a guess that it's x minus 2. And I'm going to do, what is x minus 2 times x minus 2? Well, 2 times 2 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. So I think that is it. And I'm going to check it. This is the guess and check method. So I FOIL that. I have x squared minus 2x minus 2x plus 4. That gives me x squared minus 4x plus 4. And then I see that, and I see this, and I see that those are the same, so I know that my answer, my factored form here, is x minus 2 times x minus 2. Or x minus 2 squared. So now I'm going to make a little room and I'm going to rewrite this over the factored denominators. So I have x over that minus, and on the bottom here I have x minus 2 times x minus 2. Get rid of that now because it's taking up my space. And I have the 5 up on the top. Now, I have these factored so I can find my common denominator. X plus 2, x minus 2, x minus 2, x minus 2. This one has an extra x plus 2, so I'm going to multiply it over here by x plus 2 over x plus 2. This has only one x minus 2. This has two x minus 2's. So I have an extra one over here, so I need to take one of them and multiply top and bottom. Now that I know what my common denominator is going to be, I FOIL, or not FOIL in this case, but I do distribute that x into this, and I distribute the 5 into that. So I'm going to have that same denominator. x minus 2, x plus 2, and another x minus 2, so I'm going to put a square on top of that one. Distribute, x times x is x squared, x times minus 2 is minus 2x. I have my minus sign, and I'm subtracting that whole thing there, so I'm going to put that inside parentheses. 5 times x, 5x, 5 times plus 2, plus 10. Reach the end. I have that minus sign to subtract that whole thing there, so I need to now distribute that in. So I'm going to change that to a plus, and I'm going to change that to a minus, and that to a minus. That saves me a lot of writing rather than writing it over again. Now I need to combine my like terms. I have an x squared. Do I have any other x squareds? No, no, no. So I have x squared on top. I have a minus 2x to the first power. Do I have anything else to the first power? Yes. So minus 2 minus 5 is minus 7. Okay, so that's done, and then I have this minus 10. And it's all over x minus 2 quantity squared multiplied by x plus 2. Now, can I reduce that? Not the way it looks right now. However, this is a quadratic, so I can factor that out probably. And that's what I need to do now. So I see the minus 10. I see that a is 1. So I'm taking my minus 10. That could be 1 and 10. Could be 2 and 5. I see that my signs are going to be different. So one's a plus, one's a minus. I see that my bigger number is going to be minus. So I put a minus there. Signs are different. Can I factor that? Nope. Nope, can't do it. Because this one is giving me negative 9. And this one is giving me negative 3. And neither one of them adds to negative 7. So now I think, well, you know that 2 and 5? 2 plus 5 is 7. Did I maybe make a mistake? So step back and look at it for a moment. Minus sign there. I factored it out. Got that. Got that. I needed to take the plus 1 over to here. I took the plus 1 over, and that gave me plus and a plus, okay, but then I had to distribute the negative in, so that gave me a minus and a minus, yeah, okay. So minus 2 minus 5 is minus 7, and this should be a minus 10, yeah. So yes, this is right. Double check if you need to. So now that I've double checked that, I know my answer. That cannot be reduced any.